Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we are doing another Kaladesh Aether Revolt Intermediate Swiss Draft League. If you like the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Okay. So we have Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Yeah, this card's really good. It's really strong. Scry effect every turn. Cast a creature spell, pay a green, draw. It's just very, very good. There's also Thopter Arrest in here, Winding Constrictor, Caught in the Brights. These are all the first pick worthy cards. I'm going to go with the rare, though. I think this card's really good. Really like it a lot. You can just generate a ton of card advantage and start to steamroll. Okay. So Aeronauts is a very good card. I think it's probably wiser to stay on color and just take the Cavalry, which is also just a very good card. They're both very strong. They're both game enders. So I'll take the Cavalry here. There's also an Implement of Ferocity, which I like a lot. Weldfast Engineer, which I haven't gotten a chance to play with yet, but I want to. I like it a lot. So let's take the Cavalry over the hidden Herbalist, even though Herbalist is cheaper. Okay. So there's a Chaser in here, a Treasure Keeper, an Outland Boar, a Herder, a Revolution. All these are good cards. All of these are good. Kind of tempted to take the Keeper, though. Just the idea of playing a Treasure Keeper and paying a green, drawing a card and getting a Treasure Keeper just seems like so much value. And it doesn't commit us to a second color yet. All three of these red cards are good. The Boar for our deck, the Chaser just because it's cheap and good, and Revolution, of course, because it's good removal. But I think we're just going to go Treasure Keeper. Very good card. Still continues to keep us completely open till we can see what wheels. Okay, Renegade obviously seems really good at the Bestiary, right? Because you basically pay 2 mana and you get something that will just trade with anything and draw a card, which just seems really strong. Consulate Crackdown, which isn't worth going into white for. There's an Iron Tread Crusher, which isn't technically a creature, so it doesn't quite... It's not that I wouldn't play vehicles because they don't work with Bestiary, but I'd rather just have like a Renegade here. Yeah, I think Renegade's really good anyway, so we'll take it. Ooh, I love to see that Druid of the Cowl here. Druid is like just such a perfect companion, well, for any green deck, but particularly green decks that have Lifecrafter's Bestiary, just ramping and being able to draw that extra card as early as possible, using all that additional mana. That definitely is going to start to steamroll. So Swooper also here, and Unbridled Growth, which I love, especially with Cavalry and Renegade. But we got to take the Druid, obviously. Just very good card. Okay, so now we're looking at what else is in this pack. Reverse Engineer, I think, is the strongest card here by quite a bit, so I probably just take it. It seems a little bit strange to play Reverse Engineer in the same deck as Bestiary since they're both like huge card advantage cards, but I mean, that's still fine. Green-blue is probably fine too. Not my first choice, obviously, but I think just Reverse Engineer. I mean, the beauty of Druid of the Cowl, once again, is it ramps to Reverse Engineer. It doesn't matter about the Improvise in a deck that has straight ramp like Druid of the Cowl, so I like it. Let's take it. There was a Mobile Garrison in there, but I think Reverse Engineer is just that much stronger where I'd probably rather just take it. So we can take Lifecraft Awakening now. I guess this is cool with... It's cool with Fabricate cards, which we can find out of Pack 3, but it's also good with, I guess, Lifecrafter's Bestiary. You can turn this into a big creature. There's an Infiltrator in here, an Alley Evasion. There's a Filigree Crawler, which I don't really care about that much. I could just take the Lifecraft Awakening. There's going to be a lot of artifact stuff in blue as well, if we end up in blue. Let's just take the Lifecraft Awakening. It's good. Oh. Windkin Raiders, rather. So this is a great pickup for us. There's an Ice over in here, which is removal. We're going to need some at some point. But Windkin Raiders, good evasion. More motivation to pick up artifacts, which is fine. So let's just take it. Very good. Okay, so we can take the Implement now. Implement is going to obviously work well with Reverse Engineer and Windkin Raiders. It also works well with Lifecraft Awakening, so I'm okay with that. I think the problem with Implement, actually the problem with Implement in this deck is we've already got these two huge card advantage cards. Like, the problem is you don't need this much card advantage. At a certain point, you're using your card advantage to draw card advantage, and that's not that great. I could take the High Spire Infusion instead, but I guess I'm going to go Implement anyway. Okay, so Leaving the Dust seems fine, actually. I usually, for some reason, it typically doesn't make the deck when I'm in blue. I think it's because I'm usually a little bit clogged in my 4-drops, I feel like, when I'm playing blue. So Leaving the Dust just is one of the 4-drops that I can, put on the chopping block. But, I mean, it still seems fine for this deck, and we don't have any removal, so it'll work. All right, Aether Herder we're just going to take here. It produces artifacts, which is good for us, especially for, like, Lifecraft Awakening and ramping to Windkin Raiders. But I've also found it to be actually a perfectly acceptable card. It's better than I expected it to be. So we could take a second Herder. Now I think I'll take the Infusion. We'll diversify a little bit. So we'll get something on the lower end of our curve. We'll get a nice combat trick to pair with Leaving the Dust. So we have some interactive cards here. And we're starting to look good. I guess I could take the Stratagem. Some people think this card's fantastic. Does Treasure Keeper leave? No, it's when it dies. It does work well with Cavalry. It just gives you Revolt. Same with Narnum Renegade. All right, we'll take it. Take the Technician. So I feel as though we're in the right colors. Because we saw a late Druid of the Cowl. Granted, we saw a late Infusion too, although that's not necessarily a sign. But, ooh. Oh my god. This pack's nuts. Holy. I mean, I'm going to take the Ridgescale Tusker just because we've already kind of gone down that path a little bit. But whoever... Oh my god, Herald of Anguish is 3 tickets too. Oh boy. Can I dip out of a color to just take the Herald here? I probably can. Would I dip out of green, though? I mean, honestly, blue-black. I think Druid of the Cowl is... Well, Lifecrafter's Bestiary, too. I was going to say Druid of the Cowl is the strongest green card I have, but Bestiary is so good, too. Oh, man. This is tough. So I could just take the Tusker. I really want to take this Herald of Anguish, though, and just make blue-black improvise, get a 3-ticket card. Ridgescale Tusker's such a bomb, too. Oh, this is tough. I mean, this is only pack 1, keep in mind. We managed to find 14 playable cards out of pack 1. I really think we're going to be able to make the demon work. That, at the beginning of your instep ability, is so strong. I feel like Tusker's... I'm going to take the interesting card here. That's worth 3 tickets. I mean, Herald of Anguish is so good. Okay. You can't splash for it either. Maybe I can. We'll figure it out. I mean, Ridgescale Tusker, the PTQ pick is Ridgescale Tusker, but the interesting, fun card is the mythic Herald of Anguish for sure. So there's another Windkin Raider in here. We can take the Vengeful Rebel. There's a Poisoner in here. Cogwork Assembler lets us improvise, so that might not be a bad idea. I think Vengeful Rebel's really strong, so maybe we just want to take that, get the removal thing. God, all these cards are good for us. Another Windkin Raider too. Yeah, all these cards are good. I mean, this is, for our improvise, it's going to help a lot. This is pretty difficult, actually. I don't necessarily have to go deeper black yet, but I do kind of want to pull the trigger on this Herald of Anguish now, because this card is just so sweet. I'll take the Rebel. I'll take the Rebel. Okay, another Treasure Keeper, obviously still very good for us. We're going to take it here. Just go deep. Okay. So we have Automaton, Bandar's in here. I can take the Automaton. It's going to be good for ramping into our improvise. We could take the Ice over. I think I'd rather have Automaton and another Implement and a Crusher, but we're kind of good on 4-drops. We'll take the Automaton. It makes sense for our deck now. So Plunderer, Swooper, all of these are good. Swooper, to me, makes the most sense because it's going to produce an artifact. Let's just, I guess we're ditching green. And yes, I could have just taken the Tusker and made that deck, but I feel as though playing Herald of Anguish is going to be so much more interesting and fun. Yeah, let's move these over. Let's try and move this over to like 6 and this over to 5, this over to 4. Okay, Swooper it is. Over Watchful Automaton, over... I think Plunderer is probably better in a vacuum, but for our deck, I think the Swooper is actually better. Okay, Inventor now, Ice over. There's Foundry Hornet, but we're not +1/+1ing. So I probably just take the Inventor here, which is just good. Good card. Ice over is actually not a bad idea either. But I've been really impressed with Inventor. I'm going to take it. We're just going to really actively be seeking. All right. Poisoner now is just fantastic for us. So we'll take it. Take the Poisoner. It just sort of makes sense now. So Strangler, another Automaton. Yeah, with all of these improvised cards, we're going to want all the cheap artifacts we can get. And Automaton has impressed me quite a bit. We're also a little bit 4-drop congested now, so we'll take the Automaton. So Salvager is cool with the little servo makers. Automaton isn't a great card, but it is another artifact. I think we want to go deep on artifacts, right? Because we're trying to make improvised work. So let's take Automaton over possibly the better Salvager. Okay, Resourceful Return is great. There's a Winkin Raider in here too, and a Hinterland Drake. Jeez. I mean, Resourceful Return is going to let us get Herald of Anguish back. I found this card is Omega card advantage a lot of the time. It's like a 2-mana divination. But maybe I want the Winkin Raider. If we can find enough cheap art, like right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like I can easily run this over Technician. I'm going to take the Raider. I think it's actually really strong. So I can take a second Implement. At this point, I'm probably willing to just ditch the Technician. I don't have to, but I'm just going to. So I can take the Prowler. I think second Implement seems pretty awkward, a little bit loose, not that exciting. All right, I'll take a Prowler. It's not exciting either, but it's at least very good in certain matchups. Ornithopter, I don't really need it, but I guess we'll take it. All right, I'll take a Crusher. I don't think it's going to make the deck, though. Okay, so yes, I diverged pretty hard from what we did in Pack 1. We had a solid green-looking deck there, but Herald of Anguish just got me super excited. It's just a very exciting mythic. That, I'm telling you, that at the beginning of your instep effect is so strong. That is so good. Oh, and then we opened Smuggler's Copter? What a gift. Too bad this card's not worth 1 million tickets anymore, ever since it got banned. What else is in here that we like? Serpent. I guess that's it. Just Serpent. All right, let's take the Copter, obviously. Very, very good for us. Like, perfect card for our deck at the moment. There's not a lot of decks that it's not perfect for. Oh, Scrap Heap Scrounger, too. It's also a Chief the Foundry. But we're taking the Scrounger, right? I mean, Chief is actually really good, too. Is Scrounger worth anything? I just feel like because it keeps coming back, it's got to be really strong, right? It's only worth like a ticket, but it can't block, but it's 2 mana, 3 power. Exile another creature card from your graveyard and you get it. That's a really strong effect. You just get it back. There's also a Daredevil in here. We are good on 4-drops, though, right? I think either of these picks are defensible. Chief is obviously just very good. But I think I'm going Scrounger. I mean, the problem is, I guess, Blue-Black doesn't beat down very much, but I'm going to take Scrounger. I don't care. Just seems really good. Okay, Die Young is some removal. I probably like Subtle Strike more, especially since we're not dedicated energy. I guess I could have had a Stomper. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are thinking I could have had an awesome green-blue deck. I'm not even disagreeing with you, but like I've said before, I just really wanted to play Herald of Anguish here. We're going to take Subtle Strike. I think I'm much more impressed with that than Die Young. Subtle Strike does some really nasty things for 2 mana. So there's a Malfunction, which is actually pretty hard removal. I could take that. And at this point, we can, like I said, well, we can probably ditch the Stratagem. That's like an easy swap. I don't really want to play Ornithopter. It just seems wrong. If I had Tezzeret Touch, I'd consider it, but even then, I could take the Peafowl actually. But what's our removal currently? We don't have too much, right? Subtle Strike, Leaving the Dust. Is that it? I thought we had more than that. We have some Death Touch, right? Poisoner. I'll take the Malfunction. It seems like a card we want. I don't think Crusher really seems like a card we want, though. Like, it's an artifact that works towards our end, and I guess we have a pretty reasonable amount of 3-power creatures, right? The Scrounger, the Rebel, the Keepers. But I'm still not really feeling it for a deck like this. Who knows? Maybe we'll have to play it, but we'll see. So Broker is actually just a card I really like a lot. It kind of just always fits in. It's fitting perfectly in our deck right now, but it's really just kind of an annoyance for any player on the other side. I like it much more than Sentry for our deck. So we'll take the Broker. Like I said, I've just been really happy with this card whenever I play it. It does a lot more than it appears to. So I like the Rats more than the Turtle, I think. Both of which aren't phenomenal for our deck. We could take the Barge. It's another 4-drop, though. Just nets a card. Pretty beefy. I think we probably need some more low end, so I'd probably take the Rats. We still have a pretty good amount of artifacts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is a good amount. 10's a good amount. We might still get one more. We'll find out. Minister. Skygate seems good. We've got such a good late game plan at this point. Skygate seems perfect for our deck, actually. If you recall from my triple Kaladesh drafts, I did get to make the Minister deck once, and it was a lot of fun. It was really good. Yeah, but Skygate seems perfect for us. Our late game plan is so good. Just a lot of card advantage, big flyers, Mythic, Copter. This deck is sweet. This deck's sweet like this. This deck would have been sweet the other way too. This deck is just legitimately sweet. We're going to take the Aviator here. Kind of perfect for what we're doing. More flyers, more bodies, make our stuff cheaper. I guess the Aviator makes the Chief of the Foundry pick better, but I'm still pretty interested in this Scrounger. I feel like it's good. Even if I guess you don't see Scrounger and Skygate in the same deck all that often. But this card's just good. I like that it kind of just attacks and trades with things and then comes back later. It just seems like a recurring value card that's very good. All right, Serpent's, I think, still good enough to make that deck, right? Like, we could easily play that over Prowler. We don't need to main deck a Prowler. Or maybe I want to main deck the Prowler and not the Rats. Because it's not like the Rats are ever getting bigger than 2-3. And I'd prefer to have this that can potentially kill something. All right, let's take the Serpent. And hope that we, pay this for 5 mana too? All right, we got the Turtle back. There's a Scavenger. Both of these cards are fairly underwhelming for us. And I don't think either are going to make the deck. Because we've just got enough top end. I'll take the Turtle, I guess. But like I said, I don't think it's making the deck. The Express. I don't think we're going to play Puzzle Knot just for a one-time kill effect. Although we're not going to play Express. All right, whatever. Trade Winds, maybe, could be valuable. Disappearing Act, maybe if I need it. Out of sideboard. All right, I think since we already have a bounce effect, I probably don't need the Trade Winds. Innovator. Innovator for days. Last pick. Blue card, nice. All right, so our deck is sweet. Our deck is legitimately sweet. Got a lot of goodies in here. As people are probably thinking, yes, I very easily could have had an awesome green deck too. I get it. I just cannot stress enough how fun Herald of Anguish is. I've seen it do pretty amazing things. I think for the most part, Serpent's probably going to be like 5 mana. I'm hoping Herald of Anguish is like 6 mana, but hopefully cheaper. I mean, you don't have to tap for the Gear Serpent too, which is nice. So it actually kind of, in that sense, works well alongside Improvise, right? Because your artifacts are making this cheaper, and then you can tap them to make these cheaper. So you can have some big turns later. I'd probably cut the Rats. Just seems like an easy cut. Oh, and then we can just cut another creature. I'm trying to think. I may just want to run 17. might want to run 17 lands, which I typically don't do. But with Implement and Reverse Engineer, we at least have a couple draw card effects. It's just we have so much in-game, it feels like something that's going to be wise for us. Probably cut the Turtle then. And keep the Prowler because it can kill things. Or maybe we just cut the Prowler too. And then yeah. I mean, I've said this before. Basically, one of the main reasons that I run 16 lands all the time is because I have more problems with Flood than Mana Screw. But on top of that, a lot of times I have a difficult 24th card to cut. Like, I have a difficult choice to make when it comes to a 24th card to cut. But in this deck, I really don't. Like, Prowler is just so replaceable as my 24th card that this just seems infinitely better with 17 lands than running a Prowler for no good reason. Like I said, I think if I could go back, I would switch the Scrounger for the Chief of the Foundry. It just seems a lot better now, I guess, in hindsight, especially with like the Aviator and stuff. But it's not a huge deal. Like, I'm still kind of trying to see what Scrounger can do for us. So, all right, this is a deck. We have a lot of card advantage: double Treasure Keeper, Implement, Reverse Engineer, a bunch of Improvise. Just a cool deck. Definitely a cool deck. Okay, a lot of blue intensive spells, only one double black. So we're probably going to end up doing like 10-7, I think. Actually, I guess we need black for these. So maybe I just want to do 9-8, although we definitely need double blue. This is kind of needing black too, but not that much. This kind of one's blue. This one's black. This one's blue. I still think I could get away with 9-8 and probably be fine. I like this deck a lot. This deck looks like a lot of fun. A lot of fun here. So, cool looking deck. I hope we can find some success with it. Let's move these over to where I hope we can play them. I guess I'm hoping to play all these at 4. Now, this I'm hoping is at least 4. These I'm hoping at 5. Potentially 4 at the Raiders. That would be nice. Oh, wait. 4 at the Raiders. 3 at the Engineer? I could probably hope to do something like this. We'll see. Regardless, cool looking deck. One of the rare occasions where I run 17 lands, but I think this is a deck that probably wants it. So, hope you enjoy the draft. I'm looking forward to the matches. I hope you are too. We'll see you then.